Gandalf in the world of Middle-earth is not just a wizard. He is one of the most important and mysterious characters in the universe, the personification of wisdom, power, and the fight against evil. Hello everyone, this is Story Hunter. In the last video, I told you about the blue mages, strange and mysterious creatures about which little is known to this day. You can find a link to this video in the tips or via the link in the description. In this video, I will tell you about Gandalf, one of the strongest magicians in Middle-earth. Who is he? How did it appear? Where did he live? What happened to him? Thank you for your comments, ideas for new videos, likes, and subscriptions. This really motivates me to create new videos. In ancient times, when Arda was still young, Gandalf was one of the Maiar, spirits sent by the gods to help shape and protect the world from evil. He was one of the 5 great Maiar, and his true name was Olorin. In modern times, when Sauron the Dark Lord began his rebellion and sought to seize power over Middle-earth with the Ring of Power, Gandalf played a key role in the fight against him. He was sent to the west, in the guise of an old man with a gray beard, to collect information, inspire peoples, and unite them in the fight against darkness. He possesses various types of magic, which he uses in his efforts to protect Middle-earth from darkness and evil. His magic is usually divided into several categories. 1. Elemental magic. Gandalf has the ability to manipulate various elements such as fire, air, water, and earth. He can cause fire, create whirlwinds, manipulate water, and cause earthquakes. 2. Magic of light and shadow. Gandalf is a master of magic of light and shadow. He can use light to drive away darkness and create protective barriers. He also has the power over darkness, allowing him to resist evil influences and creatures. 3. Magic of illusions. Gandalf can create illusions and deceive enemies, forcing them to see and perceive things that are not really there. 4. Will magic. One of the most powerful aspects of Gandalf's magic is his ability to influence the will of other beings. He can inspire courage and determination in his allies, as well as resist the influence of dark forces on their minds. 5. Magic of the Ring. Although Gandalf cannot use the Ring of Power directly due to its destructive power and influence, he has knowledge of it and can act according to its effects on the world around him. Gandalf often uses his magic, combined with his wisdom, leadership, and combat prowess, to protect his friends and resist the dark forces of Middle-earth. In the life of Gandalf, the great wizard from the Lord of the Rings, there was no permanent residence, like many other inhabitants of Middle-earth. The whole world was his home, and the stars were his shelter. He was a wanderer, never staying in one place for long. However, there is one place that is most associated with him: his modest home in Hobbiton, where he often visited his friend, the great hobbit Bilbo Baggins. Gandalf's house in Hobbiton was unusual and mysterious, like its owner himself. He stood on the edge of the forest, surrounded by trees and vineyards. This ancient house, covered with vines and greenery, seemed to be part of nature, merging with the surrounding landscape. Inside, the house was filled with mysterious artifacts, ancient scrolls and treasures that Gandalf had collected during his many travels. Maps and images of distant lands hung on the walls, and in the corner stood an old table covered with parchments and books. Here, Gandalf often spent time studying ancient texts and planning his next steps in the fight against darkness. But despite his penchant for wandering, the house in Hobbiton always remained a cozy refuge for Gandalf, where he could take a short break from his many duties and enjoy the peace and warmth of the friendly company of Bilbo Baggins and his nephew Frodo. This home, although modest in comparison to castles and palaces, was a place where a wise and powerful wizard could feel at home, surrounded by good friends and his favorite books. The life of Gandalf, the wizard from the Lord of the Rings, was full of adventures, wanderings, and the fight against evil. His main calling was to serve the light and protect Middle-earth from darkness and destruction. 1. Advisor and mentor. Gandalf was known for his wisdom and the advice he gave to the rulers and peoples of Middle-earth. He helped resolve conflicts, prevented wars, and helped maintain peace and order. 2. Darkness fighter. One of the main aspects of Gandalf's life was his fight against evil and darkness. He resisted the power of Sauron, helped his allies in their struggle, and directed the forces of light in the fight against dark forces. 3. Member of the Fellowship of the Ring. Gandalf was a member of the Fellowship of the Ring, a group gathered to destroy the Ring of Power and defeat Sauron. His role on this journey was not only to provide combat support, but also to guide and inspire the other members of the group. 4. Explorer. Gandalf was also known for his desire for knowledge and exploration. He studied artifacts, magical objects, and ancient texts to understand the nature of evil and find ways to defeat it. 5. The Traveler. During his life, Gandalf traveled widely throughout Middle-earth and beyond. He explored ancient ruins, met different peoples and races, sought allies, and helped those who needed his help. In general, Gandalf's life was dedicated to serving good, protecting the world and fighting against darkness. His contribution to the struggle for freedom and justice in Middle-earth was invaluable. Gandalf was also a member of the Fellowship of the Ring, a group formed to destroy the Ring of Power and defeat Sauron. His role on this journey was not only to fight his enemies, but also to guide and inspire his allies with his wisdom and advice. One of the most important moments of his story was his rebirth as Gandalf the White after his battle with the Balrog in Moria. In this new form, he became even more powerful and acted as the leader of the Free People's Alliance in the struggle for Middle-earth. Throughout his long life, Gandalf embodied the highest ideals of goodness, wisdom, and selflessness. His strength was not only in his magic, but also in his ability to inspire others to do good deeds and fight for justice. In the end, thanks to his efforts and sacrifices, the darkness was defeated and the world found its balance again. After the last act of the great journey was completed and the One Ring was destroyed in the flames of Mount Orodruin, Middle-earth felt the wave of freedom and relief that inevitably comes after the end of war. The great victory was won, and Sauron was defeated. Gandalf, like his fellow fellowships, was catching his breath from years of fighting. Standing on the hills of the Fellowship, Gandalf watched as the sun rose over the craggy peaks of Mordor, bathed in the light of a new age. He felt the invisible shackles of evil that had long held Middle-earth in their enslavement crumble to dust. But although the darkness was defeated, the world required further attention and care. Gandalf, tireless in his devotion, began a new chapter of his life after the fall of Sauron. He turned his gaze to the east, to distant lands, where the need for help was most acute. Middle-earth was ravaged by war, and Gandalf felt it was his duty to help rebuild the destroyed areas and restore peace. Thus began his journey, filled with new challenges and tasks. Together with his friends and allies, he helped restore kingdoms and supported peoples in their quest for peace and justice. His wisdom and strength were constant supports for those who needed them. Over the years, Gandalf continued his mission, working tirelessly for the good of Middle-earth. And although his adventures after the great victory may have been less impressive than the fight against Sauron himself, his contribution to the creation of the New World was no less significant. Thus ended the story of the great wizard, who continued his struggle for good and justice in a world freed from darkness and the threat of the ring.